episode of the RSL Random Fan Podcast. This time with energy.
And yellow cards.
Yeah, you get a yellow card.
You get a yellow card.
It's the Oprah Winfrey episode.
You started too slow. Yellow card.
Oh, sorry. So let's get the starting lineup for Real Salt Lake in goal.
Against who? Who do we play
FC
this
Dallas.
week?
I'm your host, Brant Goble, joined by
Tyler Thomas.
Brennan.
And that's how you screw up an introduction every single week. All right. In goal, Rafa Cabral.
Cabral. They had a cool thing out.
Yeah, I read that. That's very nice.
awesome. Yeah. You should go read it if you haven't.
Great story on RSL.com about
Yep.
Rafa and his family.
He did not get a yellow card.
No. He didn't deserve one either.
No, he didn't.
And then across the back line, you had Katranis and Sam. How do you say his name?
Junka.
Junka? Is that the appropriate
That's
one?
how he says it. There's actually a pronunciation guide on the website. Surprised you didn't know that. It's under roster. And it says how they say their names. So he says Junka.
Yeah, they kept saying it on the episode, on the game, the commentators, and I was like, is that right? Is that right?
That's how he says it.
So Junka it is. Justin Glad, Noel Caliscan, and then in the middle we had Ojeda and Danelli. And then second start in a row, Zavier Gozo, Diego Luna in the middle. And I don't know if you know this, but Diego Gonzalez is our designated player. Somebody should remind him. And then William Agata. I got to go to the shower.
I gotta go shower early. Oh, boy.
Who needs to be? He was
Rough way to
top.
start, right?
All right, thoughts on
Well,
the
and the
game.
bench.
On
real
the
quick.
bench, we had Stadahar in the goal, Pablo Ruiz, Bodie Hidalgo, Johnny Russell. We can talk about that being on the bench. Tyler Wolf. Tyler Wolf.
Yep.
Zach Farnsworth. He gets his full name. Do you
I
know
know. Yeah, it's interesting.
League
Everybody else
Soccer
is like
really likes him. Mark Chuk, Barea, and Piol.
So interesting. Who was not on the bench? Where's our 6'6" center back?
He went out early. He went out late in the game. The last game he played, he got a little strain.
Okay.
And then he was at practice when I was there last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And he wasn't practicing, but
He was handing out popsicles.
no, he didn't give one to me.
What about Vera? Was he?
Vera wasn't
Oh,
practice. He wasn't even there.
He wasn't even there.
I would doubt Vera would be there this Wednesday, but I would
Did
think
he break something? Or is it all concussion protocol stuff?
concussion probably.
We're double checking because he also posted something on Instagram where he went to those people that give you oxygen and like get your whole
okay.
body
One of those
in
oxygen
shape.
bars or whatever.
Yeah, he got the
time capsules.
holy living daylights knocked out of him by Cabral.
I know.
I would not expect. I don't have any info, but I would not expect him to play on Wednesday. But I think if he's recovered, I could see him on Saturday.
Maybe a bench or.
Yeah, especially if Quentin is coming back on Wednesday.
Gosh, I love Quentin.
I do too.
What a great guy.
He is.
I need to ask him if he wants to go hiking.
And honestly, with this lineup and kind of our makeshift back line, honestly, I thought Noel Caliscan played one of the best games at right back I've seen.
Oh man!
Right? Isn't that weird?
No.
We were talking about this
He played
before.
okay.
I don't agree with this.
Well, I mean, so I didn't say he played great.
Right.
Like, let's not go there.
But have we had a great
But at
performance?
right back, he didn't suck. And I was grateful for that.
It's crazy to me that like FC Dallas did kind of pressure up their left side pretty heavily. Mm-hmm. But the way Caliscan was meeting them halfway, he wasn't tracking back with them. He was meeting them halfway. He got away with not like he got away with getting away with bad areas. Like, oh, dude. And it just shows that like when we put a real right back there, how great we could be. Like, holy cow. Like, if we had somebody that was a true fullback on the right side.
But, he didn't pass it to the other team right in front of the goal.
No.
Like we've seen this year. And he didn't get a red card. He didn't get a yellow. Which is saying something in this game.
Wasn't there a point where he should have gotten a red card?
He should have got a yellow.
There was a challenge that, he should have definitely got a yellow.
Well,
but I mean,
everybody
just
got a yellow.
compared to what he was handing out, because the ref was handing him out like candy.
Well, if you're going to slide with both feet forward, you might as well ask for it. I mean, you're going to wipe your own butt with that yellow card.
But I mean, yeah. So many things gone on in this.
One thing, I'm watching the RSL play the last several games. They have done really well the first 10, 12, 15 minutes. They come out, they put pressure, and they try and get on top and try and score, which they are totally inept at doing at the moment.
What? Pessimism to the fullest.
Well, okay. We have one player with 7 goals, and then we have the rest of the team with 6. We have 13 goals.
Wait, was that the player that's in an attacking position, possibly a 10 or a 9?
No, that's your DP. He only has 1 goal.
So
anyway, they went forward, and you cannot say that they are. I believe watching RSL, they know how to get forward. They know how to get in dangerous positions, and maybe it's just a matter of the universe or good luck or karma, like Pablo was talking in the post.
Prayers and fasting. Come on, Brennan. That was funny, dude. Come on, laugh at that.
If you will join us this weekend as we fast for RSL goals, that would be.
All right, we're gonna get struck down. We better move on.
Yeah. Well, they get into dangerous positions. It's that final pass, and whether that final pass is not sent in correctly or if they just aren't. There was a couple of times I can think of 2 times where Diogo missed Agata. And I don't know.
And he missed him
the first
one time. Yeah.
The first time, the pass might have been a little too far in front of him. The second time, Agata stopped.
Well, the third time he was in on goal. And
that wasn't from
that.
Well, I guess that was from Diogo.
On that one.
Yeah.
That was a great ball. I was like, wow, that's a DP level ball right there.
You know, as a team, we focus heavily on the double pivot and moving the ball forward through the double pivot that it has become so just ironclad. This is how we're going to move the ball.
Dominating.
The thing that is really missing is what style or what type of tendencies do we want our wingers and our 9 to do? Because you see Gozo, he's really working hard. He's doing what Mark Juk is doing, which is trying to create something out of nothing in that island on the right side. And then you see Diogo. Well, sometimes you do. You see Diogo doing the same thing where there is no style of play in the upper third. And I don't understand. It's almost like, oh, we got the ball up here. Okay, now you have to do something. Like that is the most, I guess, dumb way. It's like thinking of it as a coach. I find that so dumb to not have that final, like, what are we doing once it's in the box? Do you know what I mean?
It's almost like we get it wide and we're like, do something cool.
And then have an opening and then we can play. But it's like, why are we waiting for that one piece to do that?
I'm still waiting for the game where we start Dom and Gozo, because I think Gonçalves doesn't do enough for me right now.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone can argue that he does.
And I think once we get that, maybe we'll get the opposing wing crash in the box from the other side, and he'll be serving into 3 people from either side. So that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and you see, like, well, Luna's had some great success because he's been set up to have great success, and then other times he's creating it by himself. But that's what you're supposed to do in the number 10 role.
Yeah.
Like, 10 and 9 are supposed to be the heaviest in goals,
yeah,
excluding,
creating
like a winger or something like that, like a Ronaldo back in the day. But,
right.
But, yeah, you should expect Luna to have that many goals if you're going to put him as that 10. Like, he is the creator and the finisher.
Yeah, but we only have 13 goals. But we are creating chances. And that's the dichotomy, of the whole thing. Is like, is it just the fact that we missed on Manuel? Would Manuel have made that big of a difference?
No.
I don't know. Agata
so.
Seems to have, there's a reason Agata was available. And it looks like maybe he hasn't figured out how to make the best decisions, and he hasn't acclimated to the club just yet.
It's a fun way to make a first impression, though, right?
Yeah.
He's a really
he's a big presence.
He's slept on. He is really slept on. I think that even the commentators were talking about how he's really affordable for what he is. You know, like we're getting him off of a free for the year, and we're paying his salary, but he's like an $800,000 player.
He's not even TAM.
Yeah, and he is creating so many positions and options that is opening up other areas for us. Like he's doing things off the ball really well, and he's working the center backs really, really well. Because like watching Piol, he does work a couple of those, like a couple times he's working the center backs, getting behind, getting in those roles. But Agata knows how to drop back, and he knows how to push forward. I'm really impressed with him.
But we still have the same result at center forward.
We're going to if we keep switching out these stupid players, and we're not.
Well, and when you get a red card, now you got to sit the next game.
Well, let's talk about the start of the game. Let's get into all of that kind of stuff. Because I thought the ref, center ref, what was his name?
Center official.
Ricondo or...
Why do you ask questions you don't know the answer?
I was
Ricky
looking it up.
Ricardo.
I wrote it a bunch of times. If you read the Rosendo Mendoza,
There you go.
I thought he was a little too quick with the yellow. Although the first yellow card against the
Dallas.
guy that
Manuel.
the guy that
No.
Fumwana.
Show.
no
Show
the guy
was
that
the first
fouled
yellow.
Diogo. I mean, that was a very
He wiped
very
him out, yeah.
that was a dangerous show. That's not his name. That's his nickname, I guess.
Yeah, it's on his jersey.
That was a very dangerous tackle. And if Diogo doesn't hop up, it really could have been. It could have been an injury. I mean, he came
was
in
dirty.
hard. And I think that the rep.
But then let's go to Glad's yellow card. Did you see the replay on that? Glad was in front, and Julio ran into him as Glad hit it.
Oh, yeah.
And Glad got a yellow for it.
Yeah, it totally should have been on Julio. Because
Yeah.
Julio was coming
Or-
way too far across.
or it shouldn't have been a yellow, really.
Right.
It should have just been a contest.
Yeah, two players coming together. But I wonder if he was just trying to even it up right away. So,
And
yeah.
Glad's like, I won the ball. You know? And the refs like didn't even see it. So I'm like, yeah, he had his mind made up. He was gonna even it out, and then
Oh.
Then
This thing's for Sam. Sam, if you're watching this, even if you get the ball, that does not mean it is a foul.
Correct.
There is no foul on
Correct.
you. It can still be
Correct.
a foul, Sam.
but Glad did win the ball, and then Julio went through him.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the one where, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
yeah, I didn't like that at all. And then Luna. Oh yeah. That was straight up. He must not like Acosta.
So right before that too, Gozo's in the box, and he gets like kicked in the chest. Right?
When was this?
Yeah.
This was like earlier before after
I think
Glad's?
it's right in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but they went and so I can't remember if it was a handball first or Gozo getting kicked in the chest or Caliscan getting knocked down in the box and not winning the ball.
Yeah.
All three of those things just we can't get a penalty.
We can't buy a penalty, yeah.
No.
Well, there was
I don't know how much gam we got to put in to get a penalty, but
it was in the 6th minute
yeah, okay.
where
Where
it was
Gozo
on a-
got clocked in the box.
I didn't see that because I was focused on the other part. It was an early corner kick for us. The ball came in low. It bounced up, and the guy's arm.
Oh yeah, Ibiaga had his arm all the way out.
It was like it was a good foot away from him,
Yeah,
and
and the ball hit it. No review.
no, yeah. Or the VAR official said it wasn't a handball because it was a natural position, but you see that called all the time. His
Yeah.
hand was away from his body, and Miami gets that call. Maybe RSL doesn't get the call, or maybe RSL or FC Dallas gets that call later in the game, just not in the 6th minute. You know
Right,
how
but
weird things are.
It's stupid. Like it is or it's not. And I don't want that to be a penalty, honestly. If it deflects off his leg and then hits his arm. But come on, Apple TV. Give us a replay from 3 different angles so we can see it. Right?
It's like they don't have
Did you
cameras
catch
on the
that?
other side.
That's what I was going to say. Is there there should be a rule based on what's, like, if you have a stadium, you have to have a certain amount of camera locations.
But see, Dallas is doing
Renovation.
renovations on their stadium.
Oh, that's
and
why
so
they
they
had-
didn't have as many cameras there. And that's why that far side was all blocked out because they're doing construction on the top of that, which is the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame.
Oh, wicked.
So pretty cool. And when they finish it, you guys want to go?
Yeah,
Sure,
we're on our way.
Road trip
We'll
it?
go. We'll go.
Well,
Okay.
it's so far away. If
Or
we leave
we
now, it
fly.
might be done by the time we drive down there.
Oh, yeah.
I got some
It's a long
points.
way.
I got some points.
If we take the scooters.
Imagine you guys on a scooter. Or like Dumb and Dumber scooter. Just the two of you hugging.
Well,
Just
so,
go,
This
man.
hog, bro.
Just go.
So,
So warm.
so you're saying there is a chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought
So either any of those could have been possibly penalties. The one where it hit his hand, fine, whatever.
I get
not a
where
handball.
you don't want that to be called, but his hand was away.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
I
and
thought
maybe
his
it
hand
wasn't
was-
blocking the goal because for me, it should be for me. And I know the rule's not written this way, but I think it might be easier if your arm is out and the ball's going in the goal, and you block it and it hits your hand going to goal. Then I'm fine with a penalty.
Or if there's like an RSL player behind him,
Right.
Like he deflects the ball from going to get
And
into
somebody
a
was
player.
ready to tap it in, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I can see where people might not want that called all the time, but it is called, and like you said, it wasn't reviewed. And I was really surprised at how chippy this game was. I didn't realize that these two don't like each other. Maybe there's still some
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah,
bad
blah,
blood,
blah.
bad blood from the first game.
Well, and yeah,
Oh, it was chippy that first game, too.
we're going back to that Luna. What was that? He just like gave him
Yeah.
one of those forearm shivvy
See,
to
now,
the chest.
You have to say thank you to the referee gods because finally something that would have been called on
a
us
red card. Yeah,
was not called.
Yeah,
Because
when I saw it,
yeah, I was like, dude, that's got to be a red. I mean, it's got to be a stupid red because it happened to us, that
Right.
last time.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, dude, there's no consistency though.
No, there's not.
And also, it was not really that deliberate, and it was like so just like
well, it was deliberate.
but it
wasn't.
didn't rise to the level of endangering the
No.
safety or anything
No.
like that. So I was fine with
He
the
did
yellow.
make a
but-
point to run over there. He took a couple of steps towards Acosta,
Yeah.
and then whacked him, and then ran off.
And he didn't hit him in the face, thank heavens, because if that would have happened, it would have been instant. You're going.
Or an elbow. Elbows were all
Right.
the rage in the Premier League over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that's
no,
a
I
fun
didn't.
time.
I was on a
Elbow-
sabbatical.
Elbows were all over the place in there. So yeah, it was really, really.
And their whole
Chippy.
midfield was chippy. They were kicking
Yeah.
people right and left. That's
That-
why I looked at halftime. I was like, how do we have four
Yellows.
people on yellows and they have one?
That
And their
Kai-
fouls have all been harder than ours.
I think they pronounced it Kaike.
Kike.
Kike.
Kike. Yeah,
yeah.
he was just looking to.
He was looking to thrown out of the game, man.
Yeah, he was nipping ankles the whole game. So
That
RSL.
guy.
No, it's
Not that guy.
No,
It's CK at the end, but they
it
changed
might
it.
be him. No, it's not
Show?
Show. No, it's
Here, I will find it. Don't
Oh, the other guy playing center back.
nope.
Oh, he was kicking people all game too. Big number 3. He was knocking people left and right. He's the one who came in and just clocked Gozo and missed the ball. And the ball like hit Gozo and fell to somebody else. And ref was like, play on. In the box. And I'm like, how is that? And Gozo was down for a minute too. I'm like, how in the world can we not get a penalty? I think it was Caliscan late in the game when he got clocked
Caliscan
in the
got
box
clocked,
too.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, because it's Caliscan, yeah, we don't get that penalty.
Yeah. So RSL was putting pressure on, and they went back and forth. I thought Caliscan early was Julio was kind of giving him fits, but they figured it out. And by the end of the game, they had Julio on the other side.
Yep. And Kamungo, he was clocking people too. It just felt like they were in a clock fest. It was weird.
And KEK is their forward, a midfielder. That's his first name.
55.
Ferreira, 55.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then, again, the goal, I thought RSL played really well for the first half. And the goal was another beautiful goal by Diego Luna, he looks like he's playing like somebody from Europe, find me. And
A man possessed.
exactly. And get me out of here.
And take me
I'm sure he
away.
loves it here, but
No.
I'm just exaggerating. But it does look like a kid.
Remember the
that's-
sequence of that? So our DP, like, I give him a hard time because he's had such a rough season with goals and assists so far, and he's played so many minutes. Anyway, he does well to control the ball, and then he goes for that kind of sideways high kick winder thing, and the guy just stepped right in and blocked it. And then their defender cleared it, and then Diego won it, took on 2 defenders, and what a sweet finish with his off foot.
Yeah, and it's a nice little spin, nice little touch with his right foot to drag it to his, I think it was with his right foot, right? Drag it to his left, and then
he faked, got the guy to step, and then
shot it. And I love the shot that they had right behind him because you can see the ball just go straight for the post. And then it's just...
And both the commentators are very, very complimentary of that skill because that is not an easy move to make.
Before I forget, talking about the commentators, I thought the one was going to cry.
Jamie?
When he was talking about Paul McCall.
Dude, that's a cool thing.
It's a big story, but I thought he was going to seriously.
No, I was tearing up, actually. Because I know Bobby Ryan. Me and him go way back. We played together when we were babies. No, I'm just kidding. No, Bobby Ryan was one of the OG players in the league. He was a forward, and in order to keep his career going, he just kept moving back. So then he played midfield. Then he played left back, and he was like that guy that was on Dallas forever. He played with Jason Kreis and all those guys that played there at that time, Garth Lagerwey, and you forget all those guys were players, but they were quite the players back in the day. And Bobby Ryan was kind of this club legend, stuck around, made a whole career out of it. It was cool. Anyway, so he brought that up and retold the story about how Bobby Ryan passed away, and then Paxton Pomacall wanted to honor him, and
wearing his number 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was get a hold of yourself.
Yeah.
But sometimes it means a lot to people.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
To the Dallas community, I'm sure it does too. But probably not as much to RSL fans.
Obviously not to me.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, I think they said Bobby Ryan passed away. He's 35.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wasn't very old, and he was on a
heart attack
vacation.
Yep.
With his family, so pretty tragic. So apologies to the FC Dallas fans, but I just thought it was weird. So we go up 1-0, and then I thought in the first half Gozo again was just
very dangerous.
Lights out. He is a little bit out of control.
But we'll take it, man.
We will take it. Just like Andres Gomez. But also, the one thing I love about him, he is a big presence. Mm-hmm. He's got some size.
Yeah.
He's got some speed.
Not enough size for that center back, though.
No.
I'm pretty sure he got tossed.
He looks like, he may not have a talent to be that, but he looks like a Premier League player.
You bring up Gomez. That's a good
analogy.
comparison because they are both able to show something while being isolated one-on-one, and it's promising. I do think that Gozo is the more tamed, poised, looking on the ball.
Yeah.
Gomez was kind of like this, where are you going to go? And your dribbles can be super far away, short. But he never really had that actual, technical ability to have the ball at his feet and move around somebody. He kind of had to use space and move the ball around, where Gozo has that technique and he has that ability to have the ball not very far from his feet and make a move on somebody, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
And Gozo is looking for teammates as well.
Oh, and I hate that so much. I hate that right side because it's in. If you watch the games, it is so in their way, their tactics. They're okay, 4-2-3-1, perfect. All right, this guy over here, this right winger, you're just going to go towards the right corner, and then you're going to get picked up by the left back, and then you got to make a move on the left back, and if you're successful, then you can look up at our 2 guys in the box that have 7 people around them. And then if you could just not have any options and just take that center back on and then make a move around him, and then you could probably score after that, unless there's the other center back and then everybody else on the freaking team. The tactic on the right side bothers me so much.
Because we get the ball wide on the right side and we when we get it wide on the left, it's only Katranas.
But it's also like he's bringing the ball in. He's not continually looking for the end line. He's bringing the ball in at the corner of the 18, right where all the angles work for runs into the box, changing the field. Like, there's so many more options the way we're moving up the left side.
Yeah.
And it's not just because we have a great, fantastic guy needs to be paid way more left back, but it's because of the tactics we're using over there.
Yeah,
I think
we're
Gozo
getting
was
too
looking
far
for
right.
that, though. I think he was looking to come back. He does a better job than Mark Chuk and some of the other guys. Better
At
job than
crossing.
Gomez was doing. Although, like I said, the only difference is Gomez was only focused on himself.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%.
And when he played his best ball when he was bringing his teammates in and, give and go and opening up. But when he got selfish and was just focusing on himself, that's what frustrated me. And I don't see that in Gozo. I think Gozo is trying to, if it's not there, he's fine with it not being there. What can he do to either take the ball back or find a teammate?
And also, he doesn't dwell on heavy challenges.
Yeah,
He pops right back up and goes. And that's like, oh, that's all I want.
Yeah.
Him and Norris were going at it.
Yeah, and it was for the game. Like, it wasn't like they were mad at each other. It's like, no, we're playing this game. Like,
Well,
we're gonna.
he was cracking back and helping out on Kamungo too. He got a couple fouls on Kamungo, like just cracking him and stuff. Like, I was like, dude, yes, help our right back, whoever it is, please help.
And there was another pass too. There was a couple of passes in the game that were kind of like those line breaking passes where Ojeda almost found Agata. But
that was so good.
But I think the keeper got it first. But there was a couple. I think Glad might even have had one where they just a couple of long passes that
breaking about two lines.
Yeah, kind of like the one that FC Dallas had late that we'll get talking. That Abubakar ended up wide open. That was a fantastic pass. I would love to see a few more of those in the game, and RSL open to those. They're not used to seeing them, and our front line, they make runs and nobody gives them a pass, and
So what would you rate the first half? How would you rate it?
Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, I thought we played really well for being on the road, for keeping our heads, for getting clocked a few times, for not getting we could have had a penalty or two, depending on who's calling the game. But and then to have that moment of brilliance by Luna, love it. I mean, I would have given him an A- for the first half. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair. There was a couple of things we can talk about. Diego, he played really well, but I don't know. You can kind of see the frustration building in him a little bit, or maybe it was just this game. I had to see how it goes. But there was a play in I think it was in a free kick in the box, and Agata just wiped out Kaike. What's his name?
Yeah.
Kaike, you just said it right.
Kaike, because he's only like 18 or 20. Mm-hmm. He's a young kid, 19 I think he is. And Agata just wiped him out. I thought, oh, welcome to Major League Soccer. But I thought they played really well. Is that what you're going to say for the first half, Brendan?
Yeah, and I was trying to keep us on track.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Because we were summing up the whole game quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm also
We'll get there.
We'll get there. So, first half, orange slices. I think it's...
Nope.
No, I think it's B.
B.
All right. We limped into halftime.
No, it's C.
So at halftime, they subbed.
Wow. That's so loud.
But right before halftime, Katranas got a nice yellow. There were
what was
8 minutes of
Katranas' yellow?
stoppage time in the first half.
That was
what was
the
Katranas'
worst
yellow?
yellow all night.
Yeah, what was that?
Because Anelli also got a yellow. What? I can't remember.
The Katranis yellow was when they went down in there and the ball pops up and he jumps to go after the ball, and then the FC Dallas player kind of ducks under him.
Undercuts
him.
Yeah.
And they run into each other, and it's yellow. And Katranis,
He got shown a yellow for that?
yeah,
He got undercut, landed on his butt, and got a yellow.
yeah.
Yeah.
No freaking way.
Yeah, that was bad.
Because he was down for a minute too.
Yeah. The guy kind of injured him. He landed right on his tailbone or something, it looked like.
Yeah. I don't think that the ref had the best half.
Oh, definitely not.
And
He
I
missed
don't,
those 2 yellows. Gave us 2 yellows for fouls that should have gone the other way.
yeah, and I don't, I don't think they had an effect necessarily on the outcome of the game.
Well,
It wasn't the ref. The calls did, because we'll get to the second half. I'll let it go till we get to the second half. But
Yeah.
let's talk about orange slices. Who deserves an orange slice? Anybody get a lemon slice? We haven't had to give out a lemon slice in a while.
Which is good because our right back didn't suck, so that's good.
Tyler, orange slice.
I got to give it to Luna. He poked the bear. He antagonized the other team. He got in a karate cross check, something to Acosta, and he scored a goal. Like, pretty bad A-half, if I do have to say so myself.
He did have the one where he almost got the second yellow.
I know.
That was really, of course, it was after he was fouled.
Right.
And then he just kind of...
Oh, and he turned around to get it. But also, he had no idea that guy was coming.
Right.
And so he was just playing the ball. I hate that.
I know, me too.
Orange slice, Brennan.
I'm going to give mine to Anelli in this game, or especially the first half. The first half, he was boxing out really, really well in the midfield. Him and Ojeda did a really good job, but Anelli specifically had a lot of fight and created quite a bit of turnovers in that midfield. So that's what I would put in the first half.
Beauty fish. How about you, Brent?
I'm trying to think. If we're going to give an orange slice for somebody...
Besides Cabral.
Besides Cabral, obviously.
Yes.
I'm going to give it to Caliscan.
We were hoping you would.
What?
I think, it's for going above and beyond, exceeding expectations.
Or because your expectations were so
Yeah,
low.
exactly. So
Yeah.
expectations are here.
He didn't get run by and scored on, so...
He played here, so excellent work. And I think if he keeps it up in practice, that may be his spot, because
No way.
Nobody's taking it, dude.
No, dude.
who's going to take it? Javane Brown is done. He's
For the
got
season.
done for the season. I
Shut
can't
him down.
imagine him playing for RSL next season, unless he's under contract for a silly reason. And Bodie Hidalgo, it should be his position. If Bodie Hidalgo was better than Caliscan, it would be his position.
Well, he was available on the bench.
Okay, can I tell you? Let's ask this question.
Even after
Let's get a little sussy here.
Red
All
card.
right. Get ready.
Who would you have rather have had? Bodie Hidalgo,
Yes.
Andrew Brody.
So, 2 different players.
If you-
play
no,
a
no.
little bit different.
If you had to choose,
Right now, for today,
yeah,
to win one game or for the season and going
for the
forward?
season,
Then I picked Bodie Hidalgo.
Bodie Hidalgo.
I take Brody.
Yeah.
I thought about this because somebody brought it up on another.
Because
Oh, they
Bodie has more upside, bro. He's still got upside.
What upside?
He's
You
still got
have this
upside,
weird
bro.
fascination with him. You think
Plus,
he's
he's from
attractive.
Utah.
Oh, that's
He's
what
got
it is.
that cool
That's
hair thing he does.
Because you can control where you're born. That's really cool.
No, I'm just saying, like, he's from here, so he's got a lot of local ties. That's what I mean. He likes playing for us.
That's
No,
what he likes. That's
Brody
great.
does too, and Brody did too when he was here, and he was tied to the club, came up through the academy, and I love that about both of them. But the future, like Bodie, he still has a little bit of upside left in him.
No.
I think.
See, we're so different.
No,
I would
you don't
go
think
with
so?
Brody. I'll go with Brody, and then I'll let you say. Because I'm not saying we should bring Brody back.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was here and he hadn't left, I'd take him over Bodie, because the way RSL plays, they don't need somebody to get forward. They just need somebody to play defense. And he's a better defensive right back than Bodie is. He's probably doesn't have as high as upside, but he's a more rounded, full player for what he is.
But you like physicality, and Bodie brings more physicality than Brody.
Are you
did.
talking about his photo shoot or his gameplay? Because in his gameplay, there's no physicality.
Oh, come on. He was
There's a
knocking
little.
down
What?
players way more than Andrew
He's
Brody
grumpy
does.
on the field. He
I
acts
love when he
like
gets
he's.
grumpy and starts kicking people, bro.
I think Brody has less turnovers.
I agree. I bet
yeah,
statistically
Andrew Brody
has
had a better passer.
especially
So-
on that
Yeah,
position.
especially in the short game.
Tell us your thoughts.
Oh, I think both of them are not that great. Well, in the sense that like Bodie I thought he was a midfield type of player, right? And the way he holds the ball, what he's looking for, it doesn't feel that he has the full confidence, like, this is what I play soccer for. You know, like Cotranis, he's a left back.
Yeah.
He knows it. Like, that's what he's here to play soccer for. Bodie Hidalgo, right back, I don't think that's him. Like, that's not his position. That's not his role. Andrew Brody, I think he's just like, yep, that's my position now. Like, he wasn't on the Monarchs, but when he was with us and he switched to Real, he was a right back or he was an interim left back. But he knew his role. Bodie doesn't have that.
You want someone...
Did you see when, was it Sam or Glad that was down hurt for a sec? And they were over talking to Bodie before halftime? Remember that?
it was I think it was Cotranis.
Was it?
Because he got undercut and he fell and he landed. It could have been.
Yeah, that's right. When he was down, yeah.
And
then
landed on
Bodie
his...
was like, they were talking to him like he was going to go in if he was subbing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, how are we going to shuffle this back line to make that? We're going to slide Sam out and play Bodie in the interior? Because there's no center backs left, right? Like
Zach Farnsworth was on the...
I know, but they didn't call him. They called over Bodie.
Well,
anyway.
that was scary, too, because it looked like he could have... When you land on your elbow like that, that's a collarbone pop all the time.
I feel that.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think the right back position it's got to get figured out at some point.
When do we bring some academy kids up and start
That's a
playing
question
them?
that somebody brought up, too, was talking about the difference between why are we more patient with some of these players like Gomez and Barajas as opposed to some other young players.
Yeah, Wolf or whatever.
Than we are with the academy players.
Well, see, why not throw Wolf in back there? Is he not a good defender?
Well,
Can he not do one-on-one? He's athletic.
He's more attacking.
Well, I know, but he's athletic and stuff. Like, he can hang. Like, I'm sure he'd love the opportunity to be on the field.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I was talking with somebody else about this, are we more critical of the academy players because we expect them to do more, and
fans or as the coaching
fans,
staff?
it's as fans because you hear about them forever, and they've been talking about
Axel Kai.
Axel Kai forever and ever, and
now Gozo gets the starts.
Gozo gets the start, but are we? Because I was thinking about it, I think we are. I don't know if we're less patient with the academy players. It's just that we hear about them longer. We hear about them when
that they might be cracking through. They might show up this game,
and then they could be in next.
And then they don't, and then we're like, oh, I guess he's a bust. Where some of these other players, they just come in for a couple of years, and we've seen it with Diego Luna where they brought him in from the USL and he's improved. Gomez, Barajas.
Brendan, you are a fan of a club that does that on the regular. So how do you get these 17, 18-year-old kids playing time with the first team when they probably don't deserve it?
Great question. I'm glad you asked. So when it comes to the academy side, it's a deep level of having them rise up to certain occasions. So like Man U, yes, they've had an incredible academy. Every single game since like the 1800s or something like that, there's been one academy player playing, starting a match.
Serious?
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. So like Garnacho,
yeah,
he's one of the guys that's from the academy. He's continuing that. Same with Ahmad was another one. But yeah, what really makes it is the fact that they put so much effort into it and they make it more substantial. It's not like, oh, these are academy players, whatever. They literally, like the academy players get almost the same exposure and experience as the main players, and they play all different kinds. Like they're getting introduced to different leagues, different playing styles all over the place. But RSL does a really good job with their academy players, but they don't put enough trust in them, and they're looking for that one moment that they can capitalize on that makes them stay for the next game, which I don't really enjoy because there is a lot of stuff going in between the years when you're playing that first time in the big shirt. Like the amount of pressure not only do you put on yourself, the amount of overthinking that you can have and trying to read everything and just you're not comfortable. It's really hard to be successful in that moment. And I think RSL quits far too fast. They give them one shot, about 5-10 minutes, and then depending on training, they're not going to play again.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I can equate that to in my own life is as a sophomore, I made the high school soccer team. And, yeah, I was nowhere near the level of these guys. But I knew who to kick it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the coach put me in. It was just so a guy could get a quick breather because you can still do that in high school ball. I was in for probably 5 minutes. Kicked the ball right to our best player every time. And then subbed out. And coach was like, you played well. And I was like, I did? And like you said, the cerebral, all these like questions, like, could I have done better? What, I was only in 5 minutes. But then like coach knew what he could get out of me.
Yeah.
Right? And so I would go in, I would pass it to the good players again. And so I got more and more playing time, and I relaxed a little bit more out there and thought, okay, I want to beat this guy, then I'm going to pass it to my good players or whatever. So you kind of grow in confidence as that goes. And it looks like Gozo's full of it right now, man. That confidence, him and Luna, and they're two of the youngest guys we have.
Well, and also being a part of the U.S. squad is a huge deal. Like, if you can get your academy players on some sort of international spot, like, that is going to grow your academy so fast. Because Gozo's gotten a bunch of call-ups, and he's been a really, really good player.
Yeah, he looks like he does not want to come out of the lineup.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, on this subject, winning matters. I think if you look at the reason that's RSL, I think, kind of slowed down their academy success, also had to do with the fact that Petke wasn't winning, and then he who shall not be named, the tactical genius, and then who was after him? Kassar, and then Petke, and then Kassar, and then
and then Petke. And Kassar. What are you talking about?
The coaches. They were RSL wasn't playing well. They were always just hovering around the playoff line. So when there's a lot of pressure to win, the last thing you're going to do is give an academy player some minutes because your job is on the line. When you look at Seattle, who
they bring them up.
They bring them up, but they also from 2014, you know what their average finish is in the Western Conference for Seattle?
What?
Third.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what RSL's is? Sixth. So when you're down there, it's hard to justify unless there's a mandate. We also went through ownership that Deloy Hansen he just cared about winning. He didn't care about developing probably. Then we didn't have an owner, and then with Pablo, he's interesting. Don't know how it all works, but you have to jump through, it looks like, all kinds of hoops and gauntlets to get some playing time with Pablo.
Or just be paid over $1 million and you get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, and you don't ever have to come out.
Yeah, but also, shout out to the U16 Academy. They just won. The whole thing. They beat LA Galaxy, which was really impressive.
And I think they only had one goal scored on them in the whole
something
tournament. And they scored like 8 or 9 or something.
They've got a couple of age groups that are really good down there.
Yeah.
U16, U15, or something like that.
Yeah, there's some real good talent there. But
so hopefully they will allow them to go up through the Monarchs and get some playing time. So anything else for halftime?
Second half.
Second half, we'll get into the second half. Big thoughts. I thought FC Dallas, I don't know couldn't tell you if they made any tactical changes, but they looked like they came out ready to play. But at the same time, it looked like just the start of the game. RSL had a quick opportunity. The big pass from...
Well, they subbed at halftime, too. Pedrino came in
and he's a scorer.
For
show. Diogo got the ball. I think it was a nice give and go at the top of the box to Agata. Diogo went into the box, and he passed it back, and then he zipped the ball right across the middle, and Agata stopped waiting for... I think he was expecting the ball
back
to him, but if he had just kept going into the box, wide open.
I know, and since he's been with us for so long, he should have known that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah,
I mean,
Twitter, back us up.
Yeah,
You develop chemistry over
There's
time.
go to Apple
It'll come.
TV and you can watch all the games. You should be acclimated before you even know you're going to get traded here.
Yeah, you should know about all their tattoos. You should be so into it.
Why weren't you prepared, Willie?
Yeah, come on, William.
Come on,
God.
Willie. William was a great
And
name,
then in the 51st minute, he does his stupid slide with.
It looked like he kind of tripped or slipped or something,
But
and then landed butt on the cleat.
he did 2 feet forward.
Right, because it looked like he slipped with his other foot forward. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
And he
slipped
didn't
forward.
even really get the guy.
No, he landed with his butt on the guy's foot, and the guy acted like he cleated him, and he didn't.
It was close. It was close.
And it was awkward, but I don't even know if that's a yellow card. I think
No,
that's
I
just
think-
a common foul.
I think that's communication, and then you're it's
Yeah,
a foul.
like, come on, man. I saw you slip, but you know,
Well,
like, anything close to that again, it's a yellow. And I think the guy acted hurt, and that's why he was like, well,
The only thing I will disagree a little bit is it was 2-footed. When I saw it, regardless if it was awkward, it was a 2-footed slide. And
Nice
watching the
slip,
game
though.
doesn't matter.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't a 2-footed slide.
It was straight out.
See if that'll help you in the divorce. Well, I slipped.
No, his
I
right
slipped
foot.
and she was in front of me.
His right foot was out,
Or
and then
slipped and
his
it fell in.
left foot slipped. So, you.
It was-
What I'm saying, both feet went out. Yeah, I'm
And
not
it-
saying it didn't. I'm saying when you slip and both feet go out, everybody seems to be like, "Oh, 2-footed challenge." It wasn't a 2-footed challenge.
It
was
looked
a
like a 2-footed
2-footed
challenge.
slip, and he didn't even catch him with the bottom of his cleats.
I don't.
So that I get why it looked like it should have been a yellow, but he missed him. So it shouldn't have been a yellow.
Well, that's another thing. Well, you don't have to get the player to have it be a yellow. It can be a dangerous play. And you don't have to
I
hit.
think that's why they came up with attempted murder instead
Right.
of just
Yeah.
murder.
Right.
Yeah.
They
Same
didn't get
idea.
him, but they
Dun,
attempted
dun.
it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that same process.
These are the. No.
It's an an attempted yellow card.
But when I saw it in real time, I was like, red. And then they showed the replays. Oh, he didn't even get him. But it looked really dangerous. Of course, you got the fourth official probably right there, helping him make the call. And then 8 minutes later, the goal from Anderson Julio. Should Anderson Julio still be on our team?
No, but that was such a good goal. Holy cow, dude. The fact that he came around him and then he also beat Glad.
No, it was Junkwa.
It was Junkwa. Oh, yeah,
How
dude.
do you say it?
Junka.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, to see him
Junka
go
did
around.
not get around in time. I was like, dude, he's fast. You gotta slide. He didn't take his center back brain. He took his left back brain.
Because
To that challenge.
he got around Katranis, and then Junka kind of went
Tried
by
to
him,
cut
like,
Took a weird angle.
whiffed right by him. Was like, oh, hey. And then he left foot.
And Glad didn't slide over at all. And then, did you see Kamungo slide between? So
They were looking at that.
yeah, so Kamungo shot in front of Cabral. That's why he couldn't react to where the ball was, but he wasn't outside because Glad was behind him. Or it would have counted as a interference goal.
Well, who
So-
knows? Who knows? But it might
Maybe.
have been. It might have been.
They
reviewed.
could have seen that it possibly
It
was,
could have. It could
There
have.
was a hint there.
but probably not because it was us.
So we get tied up 1-1, and RSL was responding pretty well to that, because that's when we got the. It was a great buildup. Ojeda had the ball, and he just turned and drove forward, and right in front of Diogo, and it was a lovely touch just right in front. And that's the thing about Diogo. It's like 1 or 2 times a game he pops up, and it's just like, why don't you do that 5 or 6 times a game?
Yeah, exactly.
Or 7 or 8 times a game, or 5 or 6 times a half.
And then Willie goes to take the touch, and he takes it to the side, and
He gets
instead of following through and finishing quick, he pulls up the landing gear, and I think they said Paws got him, but
He was already
Obviously-
dragging his foot.
obviously he missed him mostly.
Missed him totally. That's the part when you talk about the ref. The yellows, they're all a lot of them are questionable. I'll give you that.
Willie Agata was justified.
But
And probably both of his cards were justified.
yeah,
Which is
Especially-
stupid.
Yeah.
That's what I hate about that.
He got the touch around the keeper. All he had to do was jump over the keeper, and if
He didn't have to jump.
No.
He didn't have to jump.
So
Paz was coming in sideways, and
so
he was going.
when you see a
past him.
goalie, you're not thinking, what are my angles? When you see a goalie, you think, oh crap, the goal is right there. I'm gonna pass it. Crap, what should I do? Like there's so much adrenaline rush when it's just you and the keeper. There's no way he's gonna be like, let me just jump over him.
No, play for the goal. Don't play for the penalty.
and that's what I'm saying.
Dude, that's not MLS though. MLS is play for the penalty.
No, dude,
man.
I hate that. That's why
that's
I'm
just how
like,
it
you
is,
know
though.
what? Like you made your bed there, bro.
Because fouls in the box are completely different than fouls in the midfield.
I know.
You sniff their pinky and they're like, oh.
Only if it's Honey Mukhtar.
No, that's true.
So yeah, it was a well earned yellow.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? And you're just watching the replays, hoping that you can see where he clipped him.
Well,
but
again, we didn't have a lot of camera angles. We had two.
Yeah, only didn't have anything on the other side. Like we need that other angle to see the foot.
Yeah. Well,
so
construction.
They did
RSL again. We are one thing to be proud of. RSL is
Leading the league,
leading the league in red cards.
League leaders.
We've got 4 red cards.
4?
in
4,
12 games.
baby.
Wait, so we had Agata, Piol, Vera. Oh, not Vera. Who was it?
Bodie.
Bodie.
Bodie
Yeah,
got
at the
3
end of
yellows.
the
Oh,
San
the
Diego
stupid
game.
one because
Yeah.
he was wasting time or
If
whatever?
you watch
Yeah.
the highlight of that, the ref pulls out his yellow
Oh,
card,
yeah,
and he
was-
goes, you can see him go,
Oh, crap.
oh, and then gives him the yellow anyway.
Yeah.
When he goes to write it down. And then Diego Luna got one that got rescinded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was terrible. But it still had had an effect on the game. But this one, at the end of the day, it does have an effect. The Justin Glad one was terrible. Not a yellow. And Justin Glad gets to sit out against Portland on Wednesday, so that's good. Agata's out as well, so
we'll have 3 defenders. And they'll all be the size of Catronis. So that's good.
So RSL then, I think one of the things that should be pointed out is that RSL's defense played really well.
Except on the goal. Then they
Minus the
didn't
goal,
slide well.
but after the red card, if you look at the...
We actually possessed pretty well.
Yeah.
We continued to play. We didn't shut it down and pull in some random guy to play center back like we love so much. I love that we're just like, hey, we don't care if we have 10 guys. We're still going to go for it. Yeah. And we did.
Even down a man, RSL had 51% of the possession.
Oh, I hate that stat so much.
Yeah, but it's still down a man.
Okay.
You had
And
the
then-
ball the whole time it was out of bounds.
And then Dallas only got off 7 shots, and they only had 2 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Which could, they're not a great team. RSL's not a great team, but when you're up a man, and I think RSL's defense played well enough to frustrate them, and they.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because if they have 2 shots on goal and we have 2 blocked shots, how do they have a goal? The stats don't make sense. The stats aren't statting.
And on the flip side, RSL only had 7 shots, and we only had 3 shots on goal. But I thought they responded as well as could be imagined. There was a few opportunities. Julio had a shot that went wide, and then Abubakar had that, like we talked about, that great pass, and he finds himself wide open, one-on-one.
Yeah, like a true center back. Instead of shooting, he's like, who do I pass to?
He doesn't even take a touch. He just first times it right back into the mixer there. And then
Well, Mark Juke had an opportunity. He got really far up the field, and Piol was trailing center,
let's talk about
just
that.
absolutely open.
He was trailing a ways though.
That's because if you watch the replay,
he
that
was
angle,
way
you're
back.
like, you can't be mad at Mark Zuke.
No.
There's no way because
No.
he's really gonna think I'm 1-on-1 with the keeper. I got 2 people directly behind me. Yeah, let me send a negative pass diagonally back to Piol that I don't know is there.
Right,
Yeah, like
yeah.
if that happens, like wow, that's.
And
tactics.
then he
That's-
let Piol have it too, because it's
like, dude, there's no effing way.
You could just tell. I was like, wow, those two are at each other right now. But that was a good shot, and Paz did have to come up, get his big old mitt up to block it, and that was probably the save of the game, honestly. Right?
Yeah, and they really didn't challenge Cabral other than the goal. And there
They
was
got the set piece that
Acosta had a nice set piece,
Yeah,
but he had it covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that great of a.
And there was a little scramble earlier in the box where he came out, and that's the one where I think they were reviewing. They thought Anelli got the handball, but Cabral stuck his hand in there, and so.
Well, and even at the end of the game, the expected goals were 0.7 for them and 0.6 for us. So a 1-1 draw was probably better than we deserved, which is stupid. You know, we should be better than 0.6.
Okay.
You know, expected goals.
So overall, if we're looking big picture for this season.
But wait, before you go there, just real quick. So after the Agata Red, I'm so proud of how we played. I'm so proud of how we finished that game. We saw it out, and we saw it out with, like, manning up, not sitting back, dropping into a low block and being wimps and pushing and taking fouls. And no, we just played them straight up. We're like, we don't care if you have one more player than us. We don't care. We're going for it. I love that. Even though the result still ended up with the first tie of the season. Anyway, Brandon, what were you saying?
So I was thinking big picture. We're pretty far down on the table, right?
Well, we are 11th. We have 12 points. Ninth and 8th. That's games.
Yeah.
So suddenly everybody has 12 points, but that's 12 games. We have 13 points.
Yeah, and to be substantial, we got to be closer to 20 at this
And
point.
10th place, we're in 11th. 10th place, that's 16 points. We're 3 points.
That's
We're 3 points out of 7th place.
Well, big picture wise, if we don't make a swing towards winning ways within the next 2 to 3 games, we are going to be struggling to get into the playoffs. Because we need to be building our confidence through the summer swing as soon as possible. Especially with our depth issue again. It's not really a depth issue, it's an injury issue.
Yeah.
Which, for some reason, every season for the past 3 years has been this way.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the inverse. Because last year we were on a tear. The last couple of seasons we were on a huge tear through summer.
But then certain people got injured. I mean, Anderson Julio had hamstring issues. Chicho had issues. Like, we've always had an injury issue of some sort. I mean, like, Philip Quinton was getting opportunity because of what's their bucket? Oh, and also some dude was spitting on somebody. But yeah, so really, as a fan, I'm really worried about these next few games before July.
Well, if you want to look at May, I was looking at this. The schedule through May is a challenge because we still have 5 games left in May.
Oh,
Wow.
So we've got
Portland on Wednesday.
And then we go to
Colorado.
And then we come back for Vancouver at home. And then it's Austin on the 28th and the Galaxy away on the 31st.
So those are our 2 hopefuls.
So the best opportunities are on the road because Portland's currently in 3rd place and playing really well. They're giving up goals. They're scoring goals, but they're giving up goals.
Yeah.
I think they, let's see, I had it up here. Portland scored 22 goals, but they've also given up 19. We've only given up 18 goals, but we've only scored 13. And Colorado, that is a renewed rivalry, but they're probably on par with Dallas, so there's an opportunity there. But it will be there at their place. And then Vancouver, I think they were down 2-0 to LAFC and came back and got the draw 2-2. They are super good, and I don't know. That'll depend on who's available, if we got our best roster, if they figure stuff out. But then the last 2 games of the month, away to Austin and LA in quick succession too. One's a Wednesday and one's a Saturday. Mm-hmm. So the next 5 games, I think you're right. I think if RSL can turn it around and get some wins in there, if not, boy, it could get really ugly. But it's still MLS, where you can go on a 4 or 5 game streak, and all of a sudden you're
right back.
You're right back in there. But the thing that I wonder is if, let's say RSL only gets the next 5 games, you only get 6 points. Is that enough to where I don't know if there is a hot seat, but when do the new
team
owners
gives up, the new owners will find a new coach. I
Yeah.
think that's it. I think simple and straightforward, and it's totally subjective.
Yeah, I don't know that he at the moment Pablo's even on the hot seat unless it's just him trying to get the team going. But at some point, if the team's not responding and the players aren't responding, I'm not. I think the odds of that are low, but I do think that it could get pretty ugly to where
Yes, I think
it will.
based on the end of this season is how things are going to go for Pablo because it could definitely go away from him. But if you don't think about how you feel right now, you don't think about how the team is right now, but you compare how the team is right now and you compare it to the team that was 3 years ago, and then you compare it to the team that was 2 years ago, and then this year, it's in a massive improvement, like an incredible improvement, and that was mainly a part of Pablo. And then when he did that big switch, getting rid of all those assistant coaches and going with what he really wanted, we saw a really big influx in
If that
talent.
was his choice.
It was. The whole coaching shift?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Pablo's choice as much as that was a front office choice.
Because that was the same time Elliott left,
Could
right?
have been. Yeah.
Because as soon as Elliott left, and then we got,
Well, a lot of those assistant coaches were there before, too,
before him,
before Pablo.
So that was like a full, fresh change. So he has done some really positive things for the club, but we're looking at it day by day, and we're just not satisfied with the results day by day.
Well, and 4-7-1 isn't satisfactory, right?
No, not at all. The other thing that's playing in, if we're talking about a hot seat, there's got to be a hot seat on the front office too
For Kurt?
for Kurt Schmidt. If there's a hot seat at all, right? Maybe everybody's just comfortable and they understand that this season they had to make changes. We don't know what's going on there, but when you have the Manuel issue, the Chicho issue, selling him for peanuts, the Boa Vista misfortune,
Dealing with crooks.
not having a right back.
Justin Miram.
You're still mad about that.
I miss him so
Still
much.
so sad.
Nick Beasler, come on.
Luca
So yeah,
Moisa?
I
Oh,
think
wait.
there's. I don't think anybody's blaming anybody, but I think there's plenty of stuff going around, and I have been totally surprised at how well that the team has stayed together.
Oh yeah. That's a very good thing. Being able to be cohesive while still going through all those issues. I mean, you gotta really think about Diogo's position. Like that has got to be so hard to show up and find something to stay positive about.
Yeah.
Like his season has been so rough, and he's got so much expectation over his head, and he doesn't have help. Do you know what I mean? Like he came to this club with the expectation, I got Chicho as my winger, I got these other players, Diego Luna's coming up, like it's gonna be this great thing, and then boom, it's all gone. And now you have to all of a sudden,
Big parts of it are gone.
yeah, big parts are gone. And a whole shift in what Luna's position is and what he's wanting. He kind of took it from Diogo.
Well, and Diogo's kind of playing like left center mid,
Yeah,
kind of thing. He's
dude.
not playing wide because that's where Katranis is getting up. But it is kind of a strange place for him. But is that he's still not getting the great results? He's not even. I don't love the way he's engaging the whole team. Usually as a 10, you want to be on the ball, and he's like getting the ball and getting it and moving it. And that's fine too. You can be a get it and move it 10, but and he played 3 or 4 really nice passes, but like you said, we kind of expect 7 or 8. And so I think his expectation isn't matching up with the way he's playing.
True.
Yeah, and I think if it was somebody not getting paid $1.6 million or whatever he's getting paid, they might be getting a little perspective on the bench.
Yep.
So, and I think he needs to be a little bit more like Gozo and just get out there
And go for it.
and go for it. But I don't think he's that kind of player.
Well, he's an experienced player, so it's almost like he doesn't need to go out there and give it his all, you know what I mean, and be kind of reckless in a sense.
Well, I think it's not what he needs to do, is what the team needs.
Yeah.
Well, what the team needs is to find what's best for him, because he does have some really good characteristics that are going to put us in a great place, but that upper third is just...
He could be like Luna. Luna has just put the team on his shoulders. It's like, hey, I'm going to score some goals till somebody sees me.
Yep, I'll take it.
But you
makes
think about
a big enough offer.
If he didn't get that international call-up and stuff, he wouldn't be as popular. I don't think Pablo saw that. I think Diego Luna created things outside of Real Salt Lake, shown what he could do outside of Real Salt Lake, and then he brought it back to Real Salt Lake because they saw it happen and it was successful, and then they started to play him in that position. I kind of feel like Real Salt Lake finds an identity for somebody and doesn't ever change it, doesn't ever allow for that growth. Do you know what I mean? Because under Pablo, it's like, okay, you're this person, perfect, you're that person. Next. Like, there's no continuing development.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think Anelli, if we look at his development, he came on as a right back and progressed into a center defensive mid, and now he's doing more dribbling, and he'll probably get crisper with his passes. And between him and Ojeda, we have a formidable center defensive mid. And yeah, we've given up 18 goals on the season, but we're not last. There's 4 or 5 teams that have given up more goals than us, but we can't score.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anelli's not an offensive player. An offensive player needs to have his creative freedom.
But Diego at the moment is pretty offensive.
Yeah, he's
pretty
super
offensive.
Yeah.
And he should be offensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so time for the Come On Crawley update. Season's over, got relegated.
Wow, that was so sad.
It was sad.
Got relegated.
Yeah, so we'll update you. I know everybody can't wait for the retention list came out today. Jeremy Kelly is out of contract, so there's a couple of main players that they need to re-sign, but everybody's pretty positive of the way they finished. And you won't have to hear about it for a couple of weeks till preseason. And then we can talk about the Premier League, which has been the most boring Premier League season I have seen in years.
Well, the Premier League itself has been boring, but the Premier League teams have not been.
Oh, yeah, they've been totally entertaining.
I think the games have been solid, and you never know who's going to win. There's like this big...
It's like parity. It's like MLS.
Yeah, and that's I don't think it's a horrible thing, except the bottom 3. They sucked.
Oh,
but
gosh.
And the top 1. And so
last year... And they weren't even that good.
Right, but last year we talked about how it was top heavy, and now this year it's more spread out, and so I think that's a good thing for the league.
Do you know what I saw on Instagram the other day?
What's that?
This guy, he goes,
what do we think of Tottenham? Oh, no.
No. He goes, what do you call it when you drink water out of a hose? And he says, Arsenal. And the reason why is because there's no cup.
Hey, they won the FA Cup a couple years ago. At least they're not Tottenham.
Oh man, I saw that and I was like, "Oh, I'm bringing that up to Tyler."
Is it the European Cup? That's
the
Tottenham and
Man U is coming up.
Well, yeah, but that's the Junior Varsity Cup, not the Champions League. Champions League final.
Is that PSG
and
Inter?
Wasn't Arsenal
Milan.
close to being in the final?
Yeah, they just
PSG was
couldn't
really
beat PSG.
good against them though.
Defensively, they were fantastic.
I loved Dembele.
I know. Arsenal tried to sign him, but he wanted to go play with Mbappe. Yep. And he ended up in PSG, and then as soon as Mbappe leaves, PSG make the final.
Weird how
weird.
A superstar brings a team down.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yep. All right. Appreciate you listening.
Oh, that's it?
Unless you have anything else?
Oh, you got to hit that like button on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you pay attention to this podcast.
Kiss your mom.
Kiss your mother, because I did.
Say hello to your
Mother's Day.
Also, if you come to the game, you find us, and you say that you told one person about this, we will get you a free hat because we have a surplus of extra hats.
Free RSL hats?
The first, 4 or 5.
First 4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
We don't want to say 10
The
hats.
next 6 or 7, you got to pay us 50%.
go.
We'll,
You get
we'll work
50%
something
off
out.
a
We
hat,
also,
That you
remember,
didn't pick out.
you can also tell us why you deserve an orange slice.
Ooh, yeah, do an
On
orange
Insta?
slice.
Is
Anywhere.
that on Instagram?
Anywhere.
Oh, Facebook too?
Yeah, random fan Brant, random fan Brennan, and then Tyler Thomas.
Tyler 3 Trader.
Tyler 3 Trader.
I always comment on the random fan stuff. So
Ooh,
you
and
find
if
me
you're
on
Brant watching this on YouTube and editing it, can you put our Instagram handles on there?
there. Boop, 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 boop.
Thanks, Brant.
You're welcome. We'll see you later.